Okay, so in this second demo, we're going to look at preparing data in Power BI. So we're going to start the report development process, and we're going to look at how we can bring data in. Now, what I have here is I've got Power BI Desktop open. I've closed down the Getting Started page, and I am just quickly going to save this file before I start doing any work into a local drive on my machine. I'm not going to put it in downloads. I'll put it onto OneDrive. I'm going to put it under MCT, and I'm going to find PL300. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do PL300 demo. I'll open that folder and I'm going to call this Sales Analysis Demo 2. That's what we'll call that. There we go. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in some data. So I'm going to connect to a SQL Server database. So I'll come up to Get Data. So I'm just going to come up to this this Get Data option here, as you can see. All right. And we have got SQL Server in here. There's a whole list of common data sources, and you click on More and we'll get the complete list that's available of connectors in Power BI that we can connect to. Just wait for that to load. Wait a bit more. So you can see here there's a whole bunch in this Get Data page here. There's a whole bunch of connectors that we can connect to, right? So all list them all, but you can subdivide by sort of file, database, whether it's Power Platform or Azure. So just look at a couple of those first. On the File tab, we can connect to an Excel workbook, CSV text file, XML, JSON. We can connect to a folder and loop round, connect to a Parquet file. If I switch to database, well, there's a whole bunch of databases in here. Obviously SQL Server is in here, but there's a whole bunch of our famous friends in here as well. So we've got sort of Oracle, we've got DB2 just underneath there. Everyone's friend Microsoft Access is in here as well. Analysis services, PostgreSQL, MySQL. They're all kind of listed in here. All the big sort of relational databases are in here. From a Power Platform perspective, we can connect into Dataverse, and I know, yes, Dataverse is a SQL Server on the back end, right, ultimately, but we can connect to our Dataverse data and consume data from the Power Platform. And then we click on Azure. We've got Azure SQL Database in here, Synapse Analytics, Azure Database for Postgres, and so on. You can connect, there's Databricks down there as well. If we're coming down to Online, SharePoint Online, what you can see here, just highlight that, SharePoint Online. We can connect into our DevOps boards. We can look at Google Analytics, we can connect to Salesforce and so on. So there's a whole bunch of different connectors. Right, so let me just come out of there and click on Cancel. So I'm just going to hit Get Data and I'm going to select SQL Server. And then I'm connecting to a local SQL instance here. So I'm just going to put a full stop in there that you could put localhost. You can put a server name in there if you want to. All right, and I'm going to click on OK, and I'll get a warning about connections being encrypted potentially. And I'm going to come down and I'm going to find a database called Tailspin Toys. Now, we can see there we've got a list of views. There's only a smallish database. There's some tables in here, right? And we're going to pull in and create some queries in Power BI, which will act as tables. Right? We're going to pull in some database tables in here. So if I select, say, the product table, we get a preview. Right? I can select that, and then the load and transform buttons enable at the bottom, which you can see just here. All right, but we're going to pull in another one as well. So we're going to add in sales into that, and we'll get an evaluation of that. I think there's something like 350,000 sales rows in this table, something like 20 products. I'm then going to hit Transform Data. Now, this is going to go away. It's going to open up Power Query, right, and it will bring in. You can see there's brought in product and sales data for me, right. So on the left-hand side here, left-hand side of Power Query, we've got the query pane. So we've got the two tables we've brought in. Right, under queries, products and sales. On the right hand side of the screen we have, let me find that, on the right hand side over here we have got our query settings where we can name and change the name of the query. We also have these applied steps here. Now the applied steps are interesting as we do transformations, which we'll do in the next demo. Those transformations get captured in M code and they get listed as applied steps here. So when your transformations run, they will they get run in a consistent way, and the same transformations happen each time. Now we can use, you can see here, I've got some of these enabled already. If I switch to view here, you can see there's a column distribution, column profile, and column property columns I've got checked. But you can see this little green bar that sits just under the column headers, and green on green is not brilliant, but you can see that there. Let me just see if I can point to it. There we go, this little green bar here. That gives us an indication of the data quality, right? And you can hover the cursor over and it'll give you some information on these as well, right? So what's valid, what's an error, and what's empty. This is on the first 1,000 rows. Now from this view tab at the top, the view ribbon, I can turn on column distribution, which gives us a look at the distribution of the data in the first 1,000 rows. All right, so if we look at, switch to products and look at product ID, all right, we've got 20 distinct and 20 unique values. All right, and if we go to product category here, right, you can see we've got 6 distinct, so there's plenty of duplicates, no unique values in there. I can then turn on column profile, which gives us the sort of value distribution of the data in there, gives us a count, gives us the minimum and maximum values. And I can turn on, if I turn on column quality here, it gives us a look at the validity and any errors and any columns that are empty for each column in the list. That's all I'm going to show in this demo. This is how we're going to bring data in. We've connected to a SQL Server database. We could have connected to a CSV file. We could have connected to an application. We could have connected to Dataverse, among the many other connections that are available. In the next demo, we will look at how we can do some transformations on our data.